Testing, testing, testing. Hi there again. I'm just going to look at some new prints that I've done recently, 3 or 4 months ago, at the end of 2014. And these prints, I'm very pleased with them. And also, a lot of other people are expressing interest. I've got some orders for these to sell as postcards and prints in some shops. So these prints are based on the Expo 67 architecture in Montreal in Canada. So I spent some time in Montreal in Canada, and I was really interested in this Expo 67 ground. It's really interesting. It's one of the most interesting grounds that I've been to. I've been to some like Zaragoza and Barcelona, but this is really perhaps one of the best. I can't really explain why. Sometimes we can't explain why. Just feel some sort of passion about it. But so I chose two buildings. So this one was the Biosphere. There was the US pavilion, and it was obviously the geodesic dome, of course, for those that should know, is Buckminster Fuller. And the internal architecture, I can't remember the name of the architects at the moment. I'll put a note up. And the second building is Habitat 67, and that was designed by Moshti Safti, the architect. Excuse me for the pronunciation if it's wrong. And he was doing that for his master's in McGill University in Montreal, and it was chosen for the actual Expo 67. And both of these buildings are very cinematographic. They're kind of larger than life, that sort of feel. And the Biosphere has been in a few films and TV programs. It's been in Battlestar Galactica, the 1978 version. And it's also been in Quintet, which is a film with Paul Newman in. And the Habitat 67 has been in a few films. The most famous one, if you can call it famous, is called The Disappearance from 77 with Donald Sutherland in. But again, they're very cinematographic. And this is the feeling I wanted to get across in the artwork that I made. And these are available as prints and postcards. And I've already got some orders for postcards for these. And the amazing thing is that I did these on open source software. So Blender and Krita and GIMP. So it means you can now get software like that, make something and get commercial interest and start selling without having to pay for really expensive softwares. So that's basically the story of it. The process is, again, my tradigital work. I speak about this a lot in my other work, so I'm not going to go too much into it. So it's a combination of traditional drawing, like these lines, ink work done in Krita this time, and the 3D graphics, of course, done in Blender. So again, it's all free software this time, so you can use that. And this is actually one of my tutorials as well. I'll give a link to that as well. And so basically, I really like these buildings. Now, I was in Canada in the winter, and it was very cold, and it gave this sort of effect, so very white, And the seasons definitely change, and the seasons change with the buildings change with these seasons. And that's why I've done sort of different colors. And originally, these were meant to be single images, but I was doing a print layout, and then I thought, oh, I quite like this. So I put in the lettering, which is, by the way, trying to keep close to the Expo font, which was Optima font. Okay, so I'm going to go into the next one. Excuse the French speakers, because that should have an inflection or whatever it's called there. But this is an Anglo version. I can do a French version if you want. So let's go to the next image. So let's look at some of the individual images. So this is the one with the grey background. If you zoom in on this bit, this is a sort of favourite bit. So you've got the geometrical triangles representing the biosphere. And then I just sort of put in blue colours here. It's just kind of an architectonic thing. It helps with the composition, and it just sort of a feeling I get about mixing abstract geometry with representational elements as well. And someone actually picked up on this image that they said, hey, I really like this image, but these bars are over these signs here. I said to him, whatever, it's art, it's not a photorealistic thing. So sometimes a mistake like that I leave in, and it's like that kind of analog process. It's not completely digital, it's not perfect. And in a way, if these were covering that, I don't think it would look as nice. Well, perhaps you think differently. So the next one is the Habitat 67. Do a close-up there. So go right in, and here you can see the real sketch lines that I did, on tracing paper. So obviously my traditional process that I talk about a lot. So I did the 3D graphics first in this case, then I printed it out and did a lot of tracing, then took it back in, and then these black lines are done in Krita, where I'm emphasizing some of the black lines that I liked in the traditional element. And as you agree, it looks quite fluid, analog-y, it loses that really sterile 3D graphics image, but at the same time has these, monolithic elements that we have in 3D. So that's the different color, one of the other color versions. Again, you've got the very abstract stuff here, which is one of my favorite bits. You've got these people here. There you go. So that's another available color in this range. And I'm going to put up a photograph of this as prints and postcards in about the next week. So this should be on this panel and also on another page on my blog page. And then this is an actual sketch development work, because it's always important to sketch. I tell people you should always go out and sketch, always draw. Drawing is one of the best tools. It's going to be around. It's been around a lot longer than 3ds Max, Blender, Maya, Paint Shop. Drawing's always going to be there. As long as we've got charcoal, paper, a cave wall, we can draw. If there's been an apocalypse, there's always going to be people that are going to pick up a pen or charcoal to draw. Right, so that's basically it. And then this sketch was actually picked up and put in a art gallery show in a venue called Curious Projects in Eastbourne, and it was called Thinking and Drawing. It was about how traditional drawing is relevant to the digital age, which I think it was a rhetorical question. I think obviously real drawing is really important, if not even more important now in the digital age. Okay, so that's basically it. And these images here were on the Krita website. So the 2D package that I used, they actually used me as artist of the month, or the featured artist in one of the posts, because they liked what I did with this stuff. So as I say, these are available as prints and postcards. So the prints are A3, A4, and the postcards are A6. So get in touch if you want those as well. Okay, well, thanks very much for listening. And if you've got any comments or questions on this, or any other of my art pieces, please let me know. And thanks for listening. And look out for more, because I'm going to do loads more stuff. I'm actually going back to Canada and Montreal and Toronto, so I'm going to draw some stuff in Toronto and Montreal. Hopefully go back to New York as well. I really love that part of the world. It's kind of retro, but quite a lot of retro 70s kind of architecture there. I like it, and it's very exciting. Right, so that's it. So check out my website, jamesableart.com, for more tutorials and my artwork. And as I always say, subscribe to this YouTube channel for more free stuff and tutorials. Okay, hope to speak to you soon. I'm going out for a walk today because there's just some sun left here in Fort William, where I am at the moment in Scotland. And it will be dark soon because it's February 2015. Okay, speak later. Bye.